I hope the screen is visible. Let me put it into the presentation mode. I think it's visible right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So, very good afternoon to all. First of all, I would like to thank the Youth Academy for providing this opportunity to discuss the research methodology and some kind of a tools what we can use it for some the article write-up. So I welcome you all for 7 days and National Level DP on Research Methodology and Tools, and it is organized by OT Academy. And in today's discussion, I'll be talking about how to write articles for a Scopus in Web of Science journals. And I'll just give some kind of guidelines of what are the things to be followed, how we can start the write-up, and what are the tools can be used for writing some attractive article. So that I'll be discussing in today's discussion. So I myself, Dr. Prem Kumar from Nansar College of Engineering. So today's agenda. So first, I'll start with how to write a quality research papers. So research papers, when we talk about the publications, we have different types of papers like research paper, review papers, editorials, short communications, letters. So many things are there. And today's the focus is only on the research papers. And I'll be talking about one of the important tool, AI tool, which can be useful for the research paper writing. And also I'll be discussing about what are the pros and cons of those tools, and what about then apart from that tools, and what are the other tools are available for writing a paper or writing a research proposal. Okay, so I'll be talking about those tools as well. So particularly I mean to say or some kind of a reference management tool, some kind of the editorial tool. So those things I'll just give some kind of glimpses about what are the tools are available and how we can use it. And after writing the article, then the focus is how to submit the paper and which journal to select. So this is what the question will come into the mind. So I'll be talking about how to select the proper journal for the publication. And finally, I'll be talking about the research profile. So let me start with the importance of the publication. So why the people are going for the publication? Why nowadays it is mandatory? Because if you're a research scholar or the faculty member, okay, so from your university or the institution, they have given a lot of pressure that you have to publish some papers or some Scopus papers or UGC indexed papers or essay indexed papers like that. We are getting some kind of pressure. So why we are getting this kind of pressure, and why these publications are very important? So that I'll be discussing now. So the very first thing is dissemination of the knowledge. Is obviously when we do something, need to be disseminated to the research community, or the scientific community, so that it will reach multiple people, and the people can also start work on it. And when we do some kind of a research, and that need to be validated, and this validation maybe happens through some kind of a peer review system. So when we submit the papers to any of the journal, and as you know that your paper will be reviewed by some minimum 3 to sometimes it will go up to 10 reviewers. So when we get the comments from the reviewers, then we can come to know that whether we are doing the research in the right way or not. So even for the validation and the peer review, the publications are very important. And the advancement of science is the when we do something, okay, when we do something and when we publish it, and that will be a fundamental means for the advanced scientific progress. So this process drives the further research and facilitates the scientific breakthroughs. Obviously, so this will your paper or your research will be a benchmark for the future researchers, and the people can create some kind of a scientific breakthrough from your research publications. And the career advancement, so this is where we people are stuck to nowadays. Okay, so the career advancement may be for the PhD, it may be for the PG, or it may be for the MPhil study, or it may be for the promotion, okay, in your institutions. So for all those things, the publications are mandatory, because nowadays everything is connected with the publication. So not only that, nowadays the institutions are it is weighted, or the status of the institutions are measured with the help of some kind of a ranking. For example, I can say an area of ranking and some kind of accreditation process like NAC and BA process. All those things, they made the publications mandatory, and the most of the time the quality of the institutions are assessed by the publications as well. So because of that only, the people are getting some kind of pressure from the institutions and universities to publish some papers. Okay, so that's purely, so indirectly we can say it's for the career advancement, but directly we can say it's for some kind of a ranking or something else, so maybe to get the degree, if we are a UG scholar or the PG scholar or the PhD scholar. And as I told, it's a kind of academic recognition. Okay, so when you do something, when you publish it, and you'll be getting recognized by the academic committee as well as the research committee, and it will impact some policy and practitioners. So the policy makers and the practitioners. So the what we people are thinking is, when we publish papers, it will not be referred by any of the industry person or the policy makers or some kind of professionals who are involved in policy making and all. But nowadays, the people started referring the research papers, and they are quoting, because the research papers, when they read some kind of research papers and they have some kind of evidence that this is already validated through the experimentation, so they believe those research papers and they are quoting this research paper, and they will be making some kind of a new policy or new process or new procedures they'll be making it, since it is a evidence-based decision making. And the collaboration networking and the publication provides a lot of collaboration, a lot of networking, and even you can have a kind of interaction with the foreign research professors or the foreign research scholars, so that we can have a proper collaboration and the coordination, and you can go for kind of a joint research proposal and joint research publication. So for all those things, the publications are very important. And finally, it is a preservation of the knowledge. So when we do something, it will be recorded, and it will be useful for the future generation. So because of all these the factors, we are publishing papers. So you people, please understand this aspect, and you people start work on it to write some kind of a quality papers, and you submit to some kind of a quality journal, and so that you'll be getting recognized in the academic community as well as the research community. Okay, and what is a research paper? As I told you already, when we go for the publication, so we have different types of publications like research paper publication, review paper publication, short communications, letters. So many things are there. As I told you, my focus only on the research paper, because the research paper, it provides an in-depth analysis, whereas your short communication or the review papers or the letters, we will not provide any kind of in-depth analysis, but your research paper provides in-depth analysis, and evaluation will be done. The interpretation will be done through, or maybe the simulation results, or the experimentation results. Okay, so because of that, a lot of impact is there for the research papers. Okay. And the research paper, as you know, it's a comprehensive document, and it focuses only on the certain thing. It's not a broader, it will not cover the broader area. Okay. And it focuses on certain things, and it will elaborate the findings, and it will elaborate the analysis and interpretation of the study. Everything will be there in the research papers. Okay. Whereas if you take the review papers, we will refer to some the paper, some research papers, and we'll be reviewing that what kind of methodology they have used it, and what are the findings they made it, and what the advantages and what drawbacks are there in that particular study. So that is where the review paper is different from the research paper. Okay, but research paper, it completely provides the in-depth analysis, and it completely validates the results what we have done. Okay, so always, that's why still even the people are giving more weightage for the research papers. Okay, and it is typically written by the scholars or the academicians or the researchers, whoever it is, and it is used to contribute to the existing knowledge in a particular field of the discipline. And the research papers are the foundation for the modern science. It is most effective way to share the information across a wide network. As I told it, since it is dealing with in-depth analysis, and obviously it may be a role model for the future generations, and the people will start using your papers as the reference paper, and they will start developing the new technology or new scientific breakthroughs, so that that's why the research paper are given the more weightage. Okay, whereas even I'm not saying that the review papers are not good. Okay, the review papers also required, because when we want to start some kind of research paper or research studies, then obviously the review is required. Based on the review only, we can focus on certain thing, and we can go ahead with certain research or certain field. So the review papers also necessary, but the impact is more for the research paper because of the empirical evidences. Okay, and the researchers stage their findings plainly with the corresponding evidences, so that the can consequently use the paper in their own research, because it's already proved that it is a better one, and obviously the people can take it as the role model and take it as the base paper, and they can do their own research. So these are all the things to be considered, or these are all the things that matters in the research papers. Okay, so I told the small summary about the research paper. Now, when you write the research paper, or how long the research paper should be, so this is where we people are lag. Okay, sometimes the people will write the very big paper, very lengthy paper, and sometimes the people write only 2 3 pages research paper. But we have certain conditions if it is a research paper and how long it should be. Okay, so as I told, we have different varieties. Okay, so here, if you write any papers, the minimum words number of words should be 2000 to 12,000 words. However, the longer papers are more common in certain disciplines. Okay, so for example, if you are working on some kind of a statistics or some kind of optimization, then obviously the number of words may exceed 12,000 sometimes. Okay, so but it is always nominal to have the number of words from 2000 to 12,000. So this 2000 is not for the research papers. Okay, so I'll just give you the correct split up for each category, so that you can start work on it. Okay, so this is what the split up is given. So if you are writing a research paper, okay, if you are writing a good research paper, the number of words should be within the 4,000 to 8,000 words. But sometimes it may go beyond 8,000 words also, as I told you. If it is some kind of a statistical, or if it is optimization based paper, sometimes it may cross 8,000 words, but always try to restrict the research papers within 8,000 words. But the minimum words should be 4,000. So if it is less than 4,000, then the people will feel that there is no much content in the research papers. Okay, and if it is a short papers, then you can go ahead with maximum of 2,000 words. And if it is a review paper, and it can go up to 12,000 words. Okay, so here, though the length is mandatory and the length is one of the criteria, the thing is you should not compromise with the quality. Okay, so the quality and the clarity of the contents are always very important. So even if you write a paper with a less number of words, you should not compromise with the quality and the clarity. Okay, so it is always crucial to focus on presenting a well structured, coherent, and concise paper that effectively communicates the research findings and and analysis, and also the interpretation. So these are all the simple guidelines I'm giving you. It's all from my own experience, and just sharing it with you. Okay, and what should be the structure of the paper? So what are the things to be there, what are the things must be there in the research paper? So that I'll be discussing here. The first, you have to start with the title. Okay, so the title, you have to give the concise and informative title, and it should accurately reflect the content of the paper. Okay, so you should not give any kind of a generic title, and should not give the lengthy title as well. Okay, so it should be concise, and it should be informative, and it should accurately reflect the content of the paper. And meanwhile, the number of words in the title should not exceed 10 words. Okay, this is where the most of the journals are giving some kind of restrictions, that the title of the paper should not exceed 10 words. Okay, so you people also try to focus, try to follow this. Within 10 words, you try to make a title, but though you keep the number of less number of words, but it should be informative and it should accurately reflect the content of the paper. So that you have to make sure that. Okay, and abstract. So the abstract, as everyone knows, it is a brief summary of the research paper. Usually, the number of words in the abstract will be about 150 to 250 words. But what my suggestion is, try to restrict the abstract within 200 words, because nowadays most of the journals having some kind of restrictions. The abstract should not cross 200 words. Okay, but it should be a brief summary of the whole research work. Okay, don't discuss any kind of a known story over there. Okay, so abstract should discuss the contributions and the novelty of the paper, and what are the research findings. Okay, so that need to be explored in the abstract section. Okay, so that within 200 words. Okay, and the next is the introduction section. Okay, the introduction section deals with the background information about the particular research. Okay, but nowadays what happens, the people will combine the introduction section and the literature review section. Okay, it's always better to combine both the things, otherwise the number of chapters will be much more in the research paper. So try to merge the introduction section and the literature review. So in the introduction section, what you have to do is you have to discuss about the background information, and after discussing the background information, then you have to deal with the literature study or the related works with respect to your particular research. That need to be done in the introduction section itself. But to write the literature study, so you have to refer to some newly published papers, or don't try to refer some old papers. Okay, so the old paper in the sense, suppose if you are writing a paper now, okay, in 2023, at least you try to refer the papers from 2019 to 20. Okay, 19 from 19 to 2023. So if you refer some old papers, because nowadays a lot of people, lakhs of people, crores of people are doing research in a single the research field. Okay, in such case, if you refer to the very old papers, then obviously you will not get some kind of a right the directions to move forward. So it's always try to refer some newly published quality related papers to make the proper literature study. Okay, and the methodology is a very important section of the paper, and it's the heart of your paper. Okay, so the methodology section should describe the research design and the sample selection, or the data selection and the data collection and the data analysis. Everything need to be disclosed in the methodology. And suppose if you are proposing any kind of algorithm, or if you are proposing any kind of a process, or if you are proposing any kind of experimentation, that everything need to be explored in the methodology section. Okay, and after methodology section, you have to keep the result section. In the result section, you have to discuss each and every findings from the results. Okay, so the results part, you should not keep only the figures and tables. Okay, you have to keep a lot of figures and tables to illustrate the results what you have obtained. Okay, and also you should give the proper justification that why your methodology is performing better than the world one. Okay, in the results section itself, you should not discuss only the results obtained by your own methodology. Okay, you also should compare your methodology with the existing methods, and you have to prove that your method is working better, or your method is working almost same as the existing one. And also you have to discuss why your method is performing better. Okay, but in most of the papers, when I do editing or when I do the review, what I could see is the people are keeping a lot of figures and tables without any explanation and without any kind of a discussion. Okay, so try to explore what are there from the results, what are there in the results, and try to explain why you are getting the better results. Okay, and you have to keep another section called the discussion section, and in the discussion section you have to interpret and analyze the results in the light of research question and the objectives what you have raised in the introduction section. So whatever the research questions you have raised, and that need to be discussed in the discussion section by interpreting and analyzing the results what you have obtained. Okay, and the conclusion section, it summarizes the key findings. Okay, and there should not be any kind of a relation between the abstract and the conclusion. because most of the time what the people are doing is whatever the contents are there in the abstract, the same thing they'll keep it in the conclusion section. Okay, don't do that. The conclusion should be a summary of the key findings, and the phrases in the conclusion should not match with the phrases in the abstract. Okay, and also you have to discuss the implications of the research findings what we have done, and the restate you should restate the research questions and the objectives with a concise summary. Okay, and also you have to discuss the future extension or the future study, okay, that need to be disclosed in the conclusion section itself. So whatever the future directions are there, so that completely need to be explored in the conclusion section. Okay, after conclusion section you have to keep the reference section. Okay, and in this reference section you should disclose or you should list all the sources what you have referred. Okay, and not only listing, okay, and need to be cited properly throughout the paper. Okay, and before the reference section itself you have to have some kind of a declaration. In the declaration you have to provide the conflict of interest, financial interest, okay, and the ethical approval. Okay, suppose if you do any kind of work on the human or the animal, that need to be disclosed. Okay, and the author contribution statements. Okay, and some kind of acknowledgements, okay, and the funding sources. All those things need to be discussed before the reference section itself. Then after that you keep the references, and suppose if we have any appendices or if you have any kind of a supplementary material, that need to be after the reference section. Okay, so this is what the structure of the paper. So you please try to follow the structure, and definitely you'll be getting a better shape for your research paper. Okay, and this is the concise summary of the structure. So as I told, the title, it should not be more than 10 words. Yeah, sorry. So the title should not be more than 10 words. Okay, and abstract, as I told, I try to restrict. So though I have given the limitation of 250 words, because some open access journals are there. In open access journal, we don't have any kind of a restrictions. Okay, but when we go with the subscription based journal, so we have a lot of restrictions. So always try to restrict your abstract within 200 words, and also please don't write any kind of a short abstract. Okay, so minimum it should be 150 words, and the maximum can go up to 200 words. Okay, and the next you should discuss the introduction, the literature review, the same thing. Okay, in the same section. And the methodology, I told you, be specific. Don't discuss any kind of a known story in the methodology section. And what is your methodology and what it is going to do, how it is going to work. So that need to be discussed in the methodology section. And the results, and you should do the comprehensive analysis and deep analysis you have to do it. Okay, and the discussion section you have to discuss the findings, limitations, and the challenges. And the conclusions, it must be a concise summary. Okay, and also the future extension must be given in the conclusion section itself. As I told, the acknowledgements, funding acknowledgement, conflict of interest, financial interest, ethical approval statements, author contribution statements, everything need to be disclosed before the reference section. And in the reference section, as I told, for research paper, at least you try to refer 25 papers, 25 related and recent papers. Okay, and if you are writing any kind of a review papers, at minimum you should refer 100 papers, because when you write a detailed review, and minimum number of references must be 100, so then only you can do a proper literature review. Okay, and also tables and figures. Obviously when you do kind of a research paper, when you write some kind of research papers, and obviously the tables and figures are must, because all your empirical evidences will be illustrated or maybe presented through the tables and figures. But you should avoid unnecessary tables and figures, and something if you are kind of conveying through the figure, that should not be reflected in the table, or something if you are something you are illustrating through the table, and that should not reflect in the figures. So you just avoid unnecessary tables and figures. If you follow this, then definitely your article will be a better shaped article, and it will try to clear the desk rejections, because the most of the papers nowadays we are getting the desk rejections. Okay, because of the people are not following this structure. And apart from all these things, the cover letter is very important. Okay, you should give at least some useful time to write the cover letter, because nowadays the editor in chiefs are referring to the cover letter before reading the paper. Okay, because the people are not having enough time, because of large submissions. The editor in chief will not have sufficient time to read all the papers. So instead, what they will do is they will read the cover letter. If you're not disclosing anything in the cover letter, if you write only a simple cover letter, then obviously there is a lot of chance to getting a rejection. Okay, it always try to write a elaborative cover letter. You just discuss what is the abstract or the short summary of your paper you discuss, and what is the novelty in your paper, that also you discuss, and whether it is matching with the scope or not, what are the importance of this paper. Okay, and you should disclose the financial and conflict of interest, everything you need to disclose. And also you have to declare that the paper is not submitted elsewhere. So all those things need to be discussed in the cover letter itself. So that's what I'm telling you. Please try to put some kind of useful time to write the proper cover letter, and you submit your paper. So once the editor chief reads the cover letter, once he understands that this is what the novelty and this is what the important, and you can say the scope of the paper is also matching with the scope of the journal, then obviously you can completely avoid the desk rejections. Okay, and now it's very important time. Okay, so now I'll be discussing about the chat gpt. Okay, so that's what I told. No, some kind of research tools for the paper writer. Okay, so now what is the buzzword is a chat gpt. Okay, so I just want to discuss whether this chat gpt is a effective writing tool or not. Okay, so as you know, the chat gpt is a useful tool for generating ideas. Okay, and it can be useful for the initial draft writing. Okay, it can be useful for the initial draft for the research paper. However, there are few things to be considered when you use the ChatGPT for writing a research papers. Okay, but it is a very best tool for idea generation. But I can say it is some kind of worst tool for writing a research paper. Okay, why? Because I just discussed all those things. Okay, the fact checking. Okay, so as you know, the ChatGPT is a AI tool. It is trained using the crores of data available in online. Okay, so when it generates some kind of matters for the research papers. Okay, so we cannot rely on the content what it is generated by the chat gpt. Okay, so though it is reliable, what as a researcher, because we people are human and we know the each and every concept. So if the content is generated by the chat gpt, it is always you should check the fact of the content what it is generated. Okay, otherwise you may give, because most of all these AI tools are works based on the keywords. Okay, if the keywords are common for two different fields, okay, it will generate some kind of irrelevant content for your research paper, and without knowing that you'll be keeping into the paper and you'll be sending the paper for the publication. So that time you may get other desk rejections. Okay, that's the one thing. And the second thing is the critical thinking. Okay, so as these tools are, it's all based on the script based languages, so it cannot do any kind of a comprehensive analysis. Okay, so as a researcher, you people have to do a lot of analysis on your own. Okay, the tools cannot generate any kind of a comprehensive analysis, but you people have to do it, and you have to incorporate your own analysis and interpretation. So interpretation may be through the figures or the tables, and analysis may be through the figures or tables that you people have to do, but the tools cannot. Okay, and the structure and the organization. So as I told, it's all based on the script base. It will not give any organized matters for your paper. Okay, so it will give some kind of content, but it is not the organized content. But as a researcher, you people have to take the content and you have to reorganize it for your own paper or for your own usage. Okay, and the structure also, it will not because in the previous slide what I have discussed is one of the structure need to be followed, but this tools cannot give these kind of structures. It will give some kind of a random content. Okay, so as a researcher, you people have to take and you have to create the proper structure, and you have to organize it properly to have a better research paper. Okay, and the citations and the referencing. So now, as of now, we don't have any kind of options for the citations and the referencing. Okay, maybe sometime later there may be add-on for these kind of tools. So once the add-on is provided, maybe it can provide you the proper referencing also. But as of now, it's not possible. Okay, because as you know, when you submit the papers to any kind of a journal, and the references must be in some certain style. Okay, most probably the people use APA style, MLA style, or IEEE style. So all those things you people have to do, but the tool cannot do. Okay, but we have some kind of a specific tool to do this. Okay, we have some kind of a reference management software. So when we use some kind of reference management software, then obviously the citation and referencing you can do it. Okay, even for that also the human input is required, because you have to initiate the tool to cite and reference it. Okay, so that we will discuss later. So these are all the problems, these are all the problems with the tool. Okay, so though it is a better idea generating tool, and though it can be useful for writing the initial draft, so because of all these problems, so I just listed very few problems. Okay, apart from this, so many problems are there. Okay, and because of that, what I'm suggesting is you can use it as a supportive tool, but you don't take it as a main tool for writing the research paper. Okay, so I just want to give you some kind of the hands-on experience, or I can say some kind of a demonstration, so how these tools are working. So I'll just try to give you some glimpses on this one. Okay. Okay, so what I do is, okay, so when you go like this, so when you type it in Google, so it will open the page like this. Okay, so just to open this page, so now you have to sign up with your email ID. Okay, and you can give the password also. Okay, we just first to sign up. Okay, once you sign up, then you can log in inside. Okay, so you can log in inside with your login credentials. Okay, so I just logged in with my login credentials. Okay, and here you can see that this page will be like this. So you see that here you can see so GPT 3.5 and 4 is there. Okay, so for all the free users, you can use only 3.5. The 4 is only for the premium customers, so that the free customers cannot use it. Okay, the advantage of 3.5, it will do faster work. Okay, whatever the content you ask, it will give at very fast rate. Okay, but accuracy will be very less. Okay, but when we go with a 4, the version 4, then obviously it will give some kind of accurate content, but it is a very slow model. Okay, it takes much time to give the output what you wanted. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate what is that version 3.5. So here, this is how the script window is. Okay, and this is where you have to ask the question. Okay, so you can ask the question, you can ask any kind of question, and it will try to give some kind of a related answer sometime. It may be unrelated answer sometime. Okay, so for example, here, as I told you, it can be used as a better idea generation tool, right? So what I can do is I'll just ask this tool to provide some kind of a research idea. So for example, if we are going for some kind of PG or the MPhil, or or suppose if you are going for the PhD. Okay, so you can use these tools to get some kind of ideas. So I'm not saying that these ideas are always perfect, but some kind of that basic idea you will get it, so that you can use it for your own research for us. Okay, so how I can use it, so that demonstration will give you. So here you see that I just want to know some kind of advancements in. So, I'm just asking question like this: what are the advancements in? See here, the keywords are very important. If you provide some other keywords, and it will give some kind of relevant information. As I told you, all these tools are work based on the keywords provided. Okay, if the keyword is wrong, okay, then it will give only the wrong output. Okay, that point you keep it in mind. Okay, so what are the advancements in the drone technology? I'm just giving it. Okay, so I'm just asking like this. Okay, when I ask this question, if you look at this question, okay, you could see it is a generic question, and you see that what response it is generating. Okay, see here, whatever the possible the drone technology, the advancements in the drone technology, everything is it's just listed some 10 to 12 the advancement technologies in the drone. Okay, because and one more thing you can observe that these data are based on the training up to the September 21. Okay, so if you need any kind of information after this period, and it is not possible to generate with the help of these tools, because these tools are trained only up to that the duration. Okay, and since my question is the generic, it has listed everything. Okay, it has listed whatever the possible ways or whatever the possible advancements are there in the drone technology. Okay, now the same question I will ask in a different way, then you can see that how it is going to respond. Okay, so here see that what are the advancement in the drone technology, okay, in the field of agriculture, for example. Okay, now what it will do is this tool will refine into the agricultural field, and it will give the advancements in the agricultural field. Okay, so now I'm just asking the same question with a different aspect. Now you can see that how we can use the same advancements in the agricultural field. So we can use it for precision agriculture and crop monitoring, and we can use it for variable rate applications, automated irrigation, planting, seeding, weed management, crop scouting. So now if you look at all these, the words, all these keywords are related to the agriculture. Okay, same thing if I ask in the same thing, okay, you just see that what are the advancement technologies in the field of the healthcare? I'm just asking. Okay, so how we can use the drone for the healthcare, so that if I ask, so it will give some kind of the possible ways how we can use the drones for the healthcare systems. Okay, so we can you can take any one of the keyword or any one of the field, and still if you ask the question, it will find it will accurately direct you to the exact research gap. Okay, so you can take it and you can start work on it. Okay, so this is how you have to use it. Okay, this is how you have to use it. Okay, and as I told you already, you should rely on this. Okay, you have to read each and everything, and you should do fact checking, and if it works fine or if it matches, then you can take it and you can move forward. Okay, so that you have to be very careful. Okay, and also I told you it's all completely related to the keywords. Okay, if the keywords are generic, then definitely it will give some kind of a generic output. Okay, and also one more thing here I just want to convey is it's all how this tool is generating the responses. It's based on the previous responses. Okay, so for example here, see here, I'm just asking a simple question. I'm asking, what is the communication? Okay, so as you know, the communication, it's a common word. Okay, it may be the oral communication, maybe verbal communication, maybe the communication protocol which is used. Okay, it may be any kind of thing. So in the same script, in the same script, whatever with the same chat script what we have, the same script I'm asking. So now what it will do, no? Now this communication will be, you can see that what it can be used. You see that it's completely on the verb. Whatever the possible communication systems are there, it will discuss. So now, if I ask the same question, if I ask the same question in this way, so for example, what is the communication system in drones? Now, what it will do is it will refine to only drone. So likewise, as I told you, it should be proper keyword, and you should ask the question properly, you should guide it properly. Then you can get to know something about how we can use these tools. Okay, and this is not the one, and we have so many opportunities are there. You can explore it. Okay, you can do multiple things with this. Okay, so these are all the things I told, the advantages. Okay, but we have a lot of drawbacks what we have discussed. Apart from this, what more is there is, as you know, when you write any kind of papers with the help of these kind of AI tools, the problem is when you submit the papers, your paper will go for the plagiarism check. Okay, so when it goes to the plagiarism check, nowadays, the plagiarism tool started using the AI algorithms. Okay, and that can detect the contents that we have generated through the AI tool. So nowadays, along with the similarity report or the similarity index, okay, you can also check the AI score. If your AI score is more, and definitely your paper will be disrejected. So that possibility is also there. So that's what I'm telling you. You have to be very careful when you use these kind of tools. Okay, and the writing tool. So we have a lot of tools for the write-ups. So this you might be knowing it. Okay, so we have some kind of office tools are available. Okay, and some tools are the commercial tools, and some tools are open source tools. For example, if you take MS Office, it's a commercial tool. If you take Open Office, it's a open source tool. And the latex is also there. It is also open source tool. You can use it. So when we can prefer the latex is, suppose if your paper has a lot of mathematical equations, so obviously you have to go with the latex. There is no other way. And some journals, suppose if you are submitting any papers related to the mathematics journal, then obviously the journals have some kind of restrictions that it is having some restrictions that you should prepare the paper only in the latex format. Okay, so those things also there, but I'm just listing whatever the possible tools are available. Okay, so whatever the idea I'm sharing here, it's all only for the quality research publications, not for even if you want to publish papers in some kind of a local journal. So you don't need to follow all these things. But when you want to publish some quality papers, and you must follow whatever the guidance I have given so far, so that at least you can get into it, and slowly you can get some kind of a quality research papers. Okay, and what are the drawing tools are available? So we have a lot of professional drawing tools are available, because nowadays when you write a paper, it should attract the reviewer, because the reviewers, you will not get only the technical comment. Okay, you'll also get some kind of illustration comments. So your picture is not good, your illustration is not good, like that, and all the reviewers are commenting. So when you get this kind of comments, then obviously you should use some kind of a professional tools to draw the images what you needed. Okay, so obviously the results that we cannot do, but when you want to illustrate your methodology, then obviously these kind of professional tools are must. So you must use these kind of tools for writing a good paper. Okay, so I have listed so many tools here, and most of the tools are the online tools, and we have some offline tools as well. You can see the Microsoft Visio is there, so it's a completely a commercial version. Okay, if you have the license, then you can start use the Microsoft Visio, and you can use the .io. So .io is a completely open source tool, and you can use it in online as well as offline tool is also available. You can download and you can install it in your laptop or PC. Okay, and apart from that, we have some other online tools also available. So, but I prefer to go with either Microsoft Visio or the .io. These are all the best professional tools. You can use it for your own applications. Okay, suppose if the fellows from the electronic background or electrical background, some kind of mechanical backgrounds. So you can use the first two tools, okay? Or if you are from some kind of statistics or financial or some kind of odds things, yes, for all those things also you can use this, because it has a lot of toolboxes for the plots and the images. Okay, you can use it. It may be some kind of a generate toolbox also available. The specific toolbox is also available. Okay, or suppose if you are a computer science overeater, suppose if you want to write, if you want to draw any kind of a flow chart, or if you want to write any kind of pseudocode, for all those things, you can use these tools for the better write-up. Okay, and in the starting, I told you we have a lot of reference management tools are available. So here I just listed very few the reference management tools. So the one is Zotero. So now one is Zotero, and the other one is the Mendeley. So can you please give me just 1 minute time? So uh, can you please pass it for 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am, please. Yes, sir. Sorry for the interruption. So let me continue. So we have a lot of reference management tools that are available. So like Zotero, Mendeley, EndNote, RefWorks, Cytovis, Paperfile, Dossier. So we have so many tools are available, and some tools are commercial version and some tools are free version. I just listed only three free versions. One is Zotero, another one is Mendeley and Dossier. All three are free versions. Okay, and out of three free versions, what I recommend is Mendeley is the perfect tool for your reference management. It's a perfect tool. It's a free tool and it's a user-friendly tool. Okay, and this is provided by the Elsewhere. And we have a lot of commercial versions. Out of all commercial versions, I recommend the EndNote. Okay, the EndNote is given by the Clarivate Analytics. Okay, so these Mendeley and EndNote is a perfect professional reference management tool. Okay, so that you can easily organize your paper, you can easily organize your references, you can easily cite on the go. Okay, and also you can share the research. Okay, with the people in the other research team. Okay, or remotely you can update everything. Okay, so all these possibilities are there. Okay, so try to focus on these tools so that your reference management is very easy. Or else, if you do all the manual references, then for each and every adjustment, you have to completely adjust the entire manuscript. But when we use these kind of tools, if you do small adjustments, automatically it will adjust on its own. You don't need to do anything. Okay, so that's what the advantage of having the reference management tool. So you please try to use these kind of tools. Okay, and when we write the so as per the previous discussion, you can write the quality papers. When you write the papers now, the task is you have to select the proper journal. Okay, so how we can select a proper journal? So for that you should ask some kind of questions. So what audience do you want to reach? Okay, so what is the prestige level of the journal, whether it is it's a high quality journal or it is indexed by SCI or Scopus or Google Scholar. So all those prestigious of the journals need to be analyzed, and how long the journal it takes the for the review process and the publication process, that need to be analyzed properly. Because if you submit your paper today, if it published by next year, then obviously it is of no use. So you try to see the review time and the publication time of the journal. If it matches or if it satisfies your timeline, then obviously you can go for it. And also finally we have to see how much does it cost, because nowadays most of the publishers moving towards the open access system. So when they go with the open access system, and you have to pay the open access fee, and the fee will be much higher for the Indian authors. So if you see, it will be in order of thousands of dollars and euros. Okay, so that you have to see what is open access fee and whether it is affordable by you or not, or is there any pay charges, or is there any color charges are there or not. Some journals are asking the submission charges also. 95% of the journals are not asking the submission charges, but a few journals are asking for submission also. You have to pay some amount. Okay, so based on all these things, if you are completely affordable, you can go for it. Or if it is not affordable by you, you try to go with the other subscription-based journal so that you can publish your paper at free of cost. Okay, so you have to see all these categories. You have to see all these factors before submitting your paper. Okay, I'll just guide you how you can select or how you can do all these process. Okay, and the indexing databases, as I told, when you go for the quality publications, you have to check the indexing databases also. Okay, so the topmost the indexing databases are Web of Science. So in Web of Science, we have certain levels like SCI, SSCI, SCI, and CPCI. SCI, E, and SSCI are top level management, I can say. So if you publish paper in SCIE and SSCI paper, indexed journal, then I can say your papers are having some quality content. Okay, then ESCI is nothing but it's the first towards getting into the SCI. Okay, it's a step one of the Web of Science. Okay, and the quality is somewhat better than the Scopus journal, but it is very much less than the essay indexed journal. And CPCI is the Conference Proceeding Citation Index. Okay, and this is only for the conference papers. Okay, and in the Clarivate Analytics, because this complete Web of Science is now managed by the Clarivate Analytics, so even for SCA journals also we have a quartiles. Okay, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 quartiles are available. And nowadays, that Clarivate Analytics is given the impact factor for all SCA journals and ESCA journals, and is very even for SCA journals. Okay, so initially for ESCA journals, there's no impact factor, but for now, from this year, the people have given the impact factor for ESCA journals also. Okay, and the next category or next level of indexing is a Scopus. Okay, and this Scopus is provided by the elsewhere. Okay, and here also we'll be having the Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, the different quartiles are available. Okay, so if you publish one paper in Q1 SCA journals, then I can say you're doing a quality research work. Okay, and so likewise we have different levels. Okay, so and one more thing, you don't confuse with the quartiles of Scopus with the quartiles of Web of Science. Okay, for example, the Q1 Scopus journal may be there in Q1, so Q4 SCA journal, or sometimes the Q1 SCA, Q1 Scopus journal may be in Q1 SCA journals also. So the both the quartiles are different. You please don't confuse with the both the quartiles. Okay. Nowadays the people are talking about publish your papers in Q1, Q2 journals. So their focus is only on the Scopus side. Okay, because for Clarivate Analytics, separate quartile is there. Okay, that you cannot see directly. So if you have the institution membership, then you can check the quartiles of the Clarivate Analytics journals. Okay, and the third category that everyone knows, the Google Scholar indexed journals are there. Okay, and nowadays we have UGC CAR indexed journals. Okay, apart from those indexing, you can see the PMC, DYAG, EI Index. Okay, again the EI Index is also given by the elsewhere. Okay, so the Scopus is the next level, and after Scopus, the EI Index is there. So because it is again given by the elsewhere. Okay, the PubMed is there, eBasco is there, Cosmos. So like that, we have so many indexing databases, but try to publish your papers only in the Web of Science and the Scopus. Okay. So then maybe for the university requirement, you can go with some kind of UGC indexed journal also. Okay. And the threats of predatory journal. So when you submit a paper, you check for the authenticity of the journal, whether it is a proper journal, whether it's an original website or the fake website, because nowadays a lot of predatory journals are available. So they'll be opening the website on the same name of the journal. Okay, and they'll keep all ISSN number, and they'll claim that it is a C indexed journal. When you submit the paper to those kind of the fake website, within a 1 or 2 days you'll be getting acceptance, and they will ask you to pay large amount in terms of dollars. They'll ask you to pay. So since because we people have a lot of pressure, what you people will do is you'll pay the money and will publish the paper in the predatory journals. Okay, so when you do that, what will happen? No, you'll be losing the money, you'll be losing the paper, and also you'll be losing the complete indexing. So because this paper will not be indexed even by Google Scholar. So this point you have to keep in your mind. So don't submit your paper to the predatory journals. Okay, to check whether your journal is predatory or not. So a lot of websites are available, so you can go to the website and you can check it, or else, as I told you, try to go with the reputed publishers like the IEEE, Springer, or elsewhere, Aquitaine and Francis, Wiley. So we have some reputed publishers. If you go with the reputed publishers, then you can avoid these predatory journals. Okay. So, or if you focus on some other journals, then you have to see that whether it is authenticated website or not. Okay, once you find it is authenticated one, then you can go for the submissions. Okay, and in the paper you have to disclose these two statements. One is the author contribution statement. So in the older days, the statement was not there, but nowadays the journals are asking what are the authors, how many authors are there, and what is the contribution of each author. So that need to be disclosed. Okay, and also if you have any kind of a conflicting interest or funding resources are available, that need to be disclosed. As I said before, the reference section, this need to be disclosed. Okay, now you have to submit the paper. Okay, so when you submit the paper, you don't submit your paper to the multiple journals simultaneously. Okay, don't do the multiple submissions, because nowadays the journals are content tracking system. When you submit a paper to one journal, if you are submitting the same paper to the other journal, they can easily track you. Once they find you that you are doing a multiple submission, you'll be blacklisted, and you're not allowed to submit, or you're not allowed to publish any papers in that respective journal. So you try to avoid the multiple submissions. Don't do that. Okay, and before submitting the paper, that need to be scanned through the plagiarism softwares. So we have a lot of professional tools are available, but out of which I just listed two. That is, one is Authenticate, another one is Authority, and these two tools are some best professional tools so far what we have. Okay, and here the beauty of the Turnitin is it also have a capability. So when you scan the paper with Turnitin software, you can also see the AI score. So that's what the advantage of having a Turnitin. But both the tools, Authenticate and Turnitin, both are the professional tools. You can use it for the plagiarism check. So you could see a lot of online plagiarism tools are available, but don't check your content of the paper through those online plagiarism tools. So when you do that, what will happen? No, your data are not completely protected. Okay, your contents are not completely protected. They will use your data for they will use your data for their own database, and they'll steal your data. So you have to be very careful when you use any kind of online tools. Okay, so better to go with Authenticate or Turnitin, or some we have some other tools like Urgent is there. So these three are the authenticated tools, you can use it. Okay, and if you are ready to submit, yes, where to submit. So I told you we have to select the journal based on some criteria. Okay, and even if you open, if you go to any of the publishers, okay, we have a lot of journals inside. We have thousands of journals inside in each of the publishers. Okay, in that which journal will be suitable for my work, so that you have to find through some kind of journal finding system. Okay, so here I just listed so many recommendation system or journal, so many finding system. The first one is IEEE publication recommender, the Elsewhere journal finder, the Springer journal suggester, journal suggester for P&F for Stephen Francis, and journal finder for the Wiley. And these are the specific to the publishers. And the last two, that is the journal guide and the CW author services, and these two are the generic tools, and it will list all the possible journals. Okay, but these first five categories will be restricted to only that respective publisher. Okay, I'll just give you one simple the demo so that you can start use it for your own work. Okay, so for that, what you can do is just go to the search engine and just type Elsewhere journal finder. Okay, when you search it like this, you'll get this kind of a general finding system. You just click this one. Okay, and after clicking it, this page will open. Okay, so here what you have to do is you have to provide your abstract. Okay, once you write the abstract, okay, that abstract you have to provide, the complete abstract you have to provide. Okay, so for example, I'll take one paper, and I'll just put it inside, so you can see that what other journals are related to that. I just downloaded some random papers for this demonstration. It's not my own paper. It is authored by some Chinese people. Okay, I just took it only for the demonstration purpose. It's not for the commercial one. Okay, I just took it the abstract of this paper. Okay, I'm just putting it here. I'm just putting it here. So whatever the abstract you have written, just put it here and just click Find Journals. Okay, and what it will do is it will tries to, because this software is having their own AI algorithm, that the AI algorithm tries to compare the abstract what you have provided, then it will compare with their database, and based on that it will suggest the journals. Okay, and here you can look at this. These are all the journals suggested by this recommendation system. So it has listed so many journals. Okay, it has listed so many journals, and you can see the match score is, you can see that match score is there. If match score is high, then I can say your paper is completely matching with that particular journal. Okay, if your match score is less, then maybe the partial scope is matching. Okay, that's what the meaning of it. Okay, the text match score is there, and you can see, I told you you have to see the prestigious level of the journal. So that is judged by the site score and the impact factor. The site score, as I told, it is given by the elsewhere. The impact factor is given by only the clarivate. Okay, because nowadays a lot of local journals are providing impact factor. Simply they are giving 10, 15, something else, some numbers, some random numbers they are giving it. So don't believe that. So the impact factor must be provided only by the clarivate analytics. Okay, so that is the authenticated impact factor. Okay, for this journal, the site score is 8.6 and the impact factor is 4.7. It's pretty good. It's very good journal. And also you can see the acceptance rate of this particular journal is 19%. Okay, and also you can see that this journal will take 7 weeks of time for the first decision. And once your paper is accepted, from the acceptance to the publication, it will take 3 weeks of time. So here the timeline is given, acceptance rate is given, and the prestigious level that the metrics are given. And also you can see this journal publishes paper in open access model as well as the subscription model. Okay, if you select subscription model, then you don't need to pay anything. But if you go with open access option, you have to pay about $4,000 you have to pay. Okay, so if you feel I'm not affordable to pay this open access fee, you can go with a subscription. Okay, once you feel that this journal is perfect, so what you can do is you just click the submit paper, directly it will take you to the submission page. Okay, or else if you want to see what else there in the journal, you can see, just go to the journal website. Okay, you can go to the journal website and you can see what else is there. Okay, so if you click this read more, okay, it will take you to the journal page, and here you can see the scope of the journal. So what other things are there? Okay, and you can see the guidelines for the authors are there. Okay, after reading the guidelines, okay, directly you can go for the submission. So likewise, we have submission a recommendation system for many publishers. You can use any one and you can submit your papers accordingly. Okay, and the peer review process, as everyone knows, once the paper is submitted, it will be assessed by editor-in-chief. Again, it will be assessed by the subject editor, and the subject editor will assign the reviewers, and the paper will go to the reviewer. So nowadays, the minimum reviews are 3, and it will go, sometimes it will go up to 10 reviewers. Okay, because one of my paper received the comments from 11 reviewers. Okay, and once the review comments are given, and that will be assessed by the subject editor, and the recommendation will be given to the editor-in-chief. The editor-in-chief will reject your paper, or he will accept your paper with some kind of revision, or he may directly accept your paper. If suppose if it is revision is requested, you have to incorporate all the suggestions given by the reviewer, and you have to rewrite the paper again. You have to resubmit. Once you resubmit again, it will go to the subject editor. It will go to the reviewers. Okay, again they will do assessment, and they will suggest whether the paper is accepted or rejected. Okay, and finally the decision will be given by the editor, that whether the paper is accepted or rejected. Okay, once your paper is accepted, okay, it will go to the public protection department. So once it goes to the protection department, so you'll be asked to submit some kind of the licenses, the copyright forms. Okay, and once you submit all the copyright forms, okay, and it will go for the final publication. So once it is done, and from the protection department, you'll be getting the paper proofreading, and once the proofreading is done, your paper will be completely published in online. Okay, so this is what the peer review process, this will go like this. Okay, but this is the process will be done in most of all the journals. Okay, and in some journals they have binary decision systems also. Once you submit a paper, they will say whether it is accepted or rejected. Okay, so that kind of binary decision system is also available. So based on that journal policy, you can submit your papers. So whether it is accepted or rejected, you just accept the decision. If it is accepted, you'll be happy. If it is rejected, you just try to incorporate all the comments given by the reviewers and just improve the paper and submit to some other journals. Okay, and finally, the author's profiles. Okay, and as an author or as a researcher, we should have all these research profiles. Okay, one is ORCID ID, it's a unique ID. Nowadays it is mandated for even the paper submissions. And the next one is a researcher ID. This is given by the Web of Science. Okay, so initially it was maintained by the Bubloons. Now it is completely maintained by the Clarivate Analytics. So here you could add all your editing paper, reviewing papers, and your published papers. Everything will be included in the researcher profile. Okay, and you this if anyone have the researcher profile or researcher ID by the Clarivate Analytics, you can completely analyze the respective person's performance with respect to the publication, with respect to the peer review process, with respect to the editorialship. Okay, suppose if any kind of funding the opportunity is there, that everything will be communicated through this researcher ID profile. Okay, the next one is the Scopus ID or Scopus author profile. Once you publish one paper in the Scopus indexed journal, then you can request the Scopus team to create a profile. Okay, once your profile is created, from the next time, all your paper you can organize in your profile, so that you can track your papers, you can track your site score, you can track your you can track your the number of citations, H index, everything you can track through the Scopus author profile. The same way we have a Google Scholar profile. Okay, so you can easily create a Google Scholar profile. If you have the institution login, you can create it. And apart from that, we have some kind of social medias like ResearchGate, Academia, Microsoft Academic ID. Okay, so many the social medias are available. So try to have a profiles in all these social medias. And when you do some kind of a papers, when you publish some kind of papers, you try to post it in all the social media, so that it will reach to the wide community, and also it will help you to increase the citation of your paper. Okay, and finally, what I'm suggesting you is try to maintain a personal website. Okay, so that you can organize your complete the works. Okay, and once you create the personal website, you try to share with all your collaborators, your colleagues, your friends, or your students, so that the people will come to know that you are working in this respective area. Okay, and so my suggestion is try to keep the personal website, because nowadays you can create a website at free at cost. Also, you don't need to spend any single rupee for this. Okay, and finally, I just want to acknowledge that the contents of other peers whose contents are being used to only to complicate the subject better. I do so solely for the academic purpose. And I'm not claiming any of the ownership, and I'm not using it for any other commercial purpose of the content of the other peers. So with this acknowledgement, I thank you all for the patient listening. Okay, so this is my contact details, so you can contact me at any time if you have any further doubts. Okay, so with this thank note, I'll just hand over the session to Madam. So you please take over, ma'am. So